How goes it, everyone? It's Carpo again. I'd like to talk a little bit about being a merchant or a vendor of anything in this world and how frustrating it is to try to function and do business in a world that is continuously raping us of our funds. Actually, read a PayPal article earlier. Now, I have very strong feelings against PayPal. I used PayPal for years, on and off for various transactions. A couple of years ago, they told me to remove it from my website and basically held my funds for a while. And so I did. I removed their link from the website, and then I was using it manually for orders for a while. And they just shut me down and kept my funds. It's been several months now, and it made it very difficult to do business. This is not the only, I'm not the only one. I mean, if you look up PayPal sucks, you'll find hundreds of articles of people who have run businesses for years on end and then had one chargeback to their account, and then PayPal just holds their funds or deletes their account. Now, PayPal, a lot of folks may say they're just doing a business. You know, they're a business. Now, there's a certain there's something that tends to be overlooked in the world. You know, when it comes to doing transactions, the customer finds it more convenient to use a card, obviously. Like for me, I can only accept checks and money orders right now for my business, but that's more complicated than most people want to deal with. We are in a modern world where everybody wants quick transactions, quick delivery, everything done right away. And what this does is it allows for merchant accounts in, say, credit and debit cards. A lot of people don't realize this, but credit and debit card merchant accounts, you have to have a reserve fund if you have a high-risk type business. But on top of that, you're paying, 3 to 5% per transaction fee on some of these sales. And who's making this money? I mean, it's not a service if it's something that we're forced into having or required to have. Let's just put it that way. Times have changed. In the 70s, you might think that, oh, well, a credit card or, I say a credit card is completely separate. If you want to have a credit card, they're welcome to charge whatever fees they want because you're borrowing money that you don't have. But if you have money in your own account and you're getting charged just for merely taking or giving money, it makes it very difficult to do business for small-time merchants and vendors. And I find it, it's frustrating to work in a world that, where you're forced to be business-oriented, especially here in the West, where basically that's what many people pride themselves on. Oh, I'm good at business, and I work really hard and do a lot of transactions and make a lot of sales, and as long as the money's flowing in, people don't really question, well, how much am I actually losing through these transaction fees? But even if you do question it, what are you going to do about it? I mean, that's out of our circle of influence, right? I mean, we can't do anything about the fact that these major banking institutions basically run the show for us. Now, the thing about PayPal, and the reason I brought that up first, is because we have always known the banking industry was corrupt. They've been causing these problems from the very beginning. In 2008, during the housing crisis, that was all banks, because they loaned money to people they shouldn't have, so they could make more short-term profits. A lot of folks think we made it out of that one, but we didn't. We didn't just skate by. That was a major blow to the economy, and a major blow to individuals, especially people who want to be future house owners, because it scared people into not giving loans. During this time, what did we do after the banks failed? Well, we bailed them out. We gave them billions more dollars so they could give more money to their top, sales people. It was just preposterous. That's something that's been going on for a long time. PayPal and many of these smaller payment processors were started out of Silicon Valley. A small group of people who started PayPal, and they're all billionaires now. And so you ask yourself, okay, so somebody became a billionaire off of somebody else's money, off of everyone else's money. And a person could say, well, they started a business and they had a niche and they made their money, and that's so be it. It's fine. But when you really look at how much money goes through the hands of the people who merely just handle our money, and you think, why is a person making billions of dollars off of just me using money for a computer program? And I would say, somebody might say, well, it's because they're liable if anything happens. Well, they're actually not. They make you liable if anything happens. And that's why PayPal can hold funds and payments for 90 days or 120 days. And they make sure that they're going to get theirs one way or the other. So in other words, I see PayPal as a non-risk business for them. And the amount of money that they've made over the years has proven that. Now, it even gets worse because if you actually have an issue that's legitimate, you can't contact customer service. They'll get back to you with a generic message, or if they get back to you at all, they basically have no obligation to answer your questions and don't care about customers. This is something that I've also found with a lot of other, businesses and business models, which is fine. If you don't want to have customer service, so be it. But when it comes to our funds and being able to transfer funds, it makes it very difficult. Think about it with cannabis. Let's say the cannabis businesses right now, even with legal CBD, you have companies that will not deal. I believe the mail service said they're not going to be, allowing cannabis products, which you would expect because it's a federal issue, but or a federal law rather. But in other words, we can make a law that says, well, this is legal, just like Kratom, but we're going to make it very difficult for you to do business, and we're not going to allow you to have a payment processor. And if you do, it's going to be an offshore payment processor. They're going to charge more, putting your customers at risk and their information at risk. And so it's frustrating. And I guess I just bring that up. I know it's not just my business, it's many other businesses. And it's not even just payment processors. It's the whole way the system works. Everybody wants to say, well, it's for the safety of the consumer, but the consumer is usually protected one way or another. It's the merchants that get screwed. And the reason why that's so bothersome is because when we talk about how there's so much opportunity for small business owners and small business loans, really it's very limited. There's an unending supply of money for somebody who has a large business already, who already has the money to invest, but not for the small guy because they're a risk. That is detrimental to the overall society, if you will, in my opinion, because what it does is it consolidates and puts more power in the hands of a few. If one business makes a mistake and they might go completely out of business for a small business owner, a larger company can afford the lawyers to say, no, we're going to lobby to change this law before we even get busted for it. And with the banks, they're completely